What were you doing on September 11, 2001 when the planes hit the Twin Towers? I was in school when it happened. Some classes turned on their TVs and saw everything happen live. My class was not one of them. This is neither the time nor the place for watching TV. The time, morning of 911. The place, history class. I was 10 wondering why everyone was so sad on my birthday. I was in my dorm room and saw it on TV, then realized I could look out my window and see it with my own eyes. Ran to the top of a campus building and saw the smoke billowing out of the towers. We got freaked out by fighter jets scrambling over our heads and got off the roof. It was terrifying time. I remember walking into the living room and seeing my parents frozen in front of the TV. Standing in the shadow of the South Tower, just outside of the farmer's market, a mist of pulverized glass rained down on my head. Sitting in my 9th grade American history class, ironically enough, I was 24, working in an office building in Charlotte, NC, browsing a Dave Matthews Band message board at my desk. Someone posted about it on the non-DMB side, and I checked the Drudge Report, which had like 2 articles only on the first page and frame grab of the burning tower from CNN. Everybody stopped working and went to the break room to watch it on the news. At about 11 they sent everyone home. Then my girlfriend at the time spent the next 2 days glued to the TV. I was at home getting ready to head out. As I headed to the firehouse, I was the EMS captain at the time. I heard lots of talk on the radio, not sure what was going on. Got to the firehouse and turned on the TV. One tower was ablaze and I stood there in awe. Then the other plane hit. I wanted to help. I immediately started packing an ambulance with any gear equipment I could find. Called the chief and told him I wanted to take 2 guys and an ambulance to help. It was instructed to stand down and wait. It is a 3-hour drive on a normal day. It was very frustrating to watch events unfold and not be able to help. It was truly one of the most gut-wrenching days in my life. It is very vivid in my mind. I am 52 now and it still hurts. My heart is in agony for all the families that were forever changed that day. Not to mention all the people who perished that day and in the years after as a result of the poisonous dust cloud from debris. Unfortunately, this event will be lost to time, as all things are. Some will remember, some will forget. The only hope we can have is that it does not happen again. We are here for such a short time. It has always bothered me that there is so much hatred in this works of ours. Peace and love to everyone. I was in school. When the towers hit, school ended, and teachers walked around like zombies. I was at middle school in the library studying for a test when a student came rushing in and yelling, "Some idiot flying a plane just hit the WTC in NYC." We didn't know until later that it was American Airlines. Remember this day like it was yesterday. Senior year of HS in Brooklyn, NY. I was in a business entrepreneur class led by a teacher, Mr. P. We had access to computers in this class and my classmate had CNN up. He started reading breaking news and then let the teacher know about the first plane. He then goes, "If we go outside, we can see the towers." That's exactly what we did. The entire class went outside and you can see the plume of smoke in the distance. Where the HS was situated was near Manhattan Beach, so Manhattan skyline was in the distance. We saw the second plane hit in the distance as well. We rushed back inside the HS where we were dismissed shortly after. Public transportation was suspended, so I remember the hour-long walk home. Came home and watched the rest from TV. My dad worked in Manhattan at the time, but he was uptown so wasn't affected, thankfully. Wild day overall. Playing a Beatles song, now I remember that song by heart. I don't think I'll ever forget it no matter what I do. I was getting ready for a job interview. It was cancelled. Walking into my AP US history class. TV was on. Mrs. Norris said only sit down and watch. History is on TV today, and we did. Still remember it like it happened yesterday. I was sitting in the waiting room at my obstetrician's office, 8 months pregnant with my daughter. I was reading a magazine although the TV was on, and when I heard the receptionist scream in horror I jerked my head up to look at the television. I just remember a sinking feeling in my gut, knowing that my daughter would be born into a time of such turmoil and fear. Second period chemistry class in high school. Principal gave a long rambling update about what had happened over the intercom, and then we just went about the rest of our day with a super dark vibe. We didn't have access to a TV, so no one knew exactly what happened until they got home that evening. I was getting ready for kindergarten. I was watching PBS Kids when all of the channels changed to footage of the first tower. I remember hearing my grandma gasp when the second one got hit. We watched it all unfold on the news. Every channel had something about it. I remember my grandma and my mom debating on whether or not they should send me to school. I'm Canadian and the chances of something happening was basically nothing, but my family still insisted I stay home. I was the building supervisor for ABM at 2 World Trade Center on the 4-12 shift. My wife worked on the 89th floor of WTC2 for Keefe Bruyette and Woods, an institutional investment banking firm. She woke me up and told me that 1 World Trade Center is on fire and you could almost feel the heat on the window of her office. I know the evacuation procedures because we practiced them. I told her to leave the building now because they were going to tell her to stay at her desk because windshield alone can push debris all the way out on the church street, so the less people on the streets the better. Thankfully, even though my wife loves her job, she hates working, so she walked out. I told her to take the stairs, but thank God she didn't listen to me. She took the elevator to the 44th floor, set back, and then took the stairs. The second plane hit when she was on the 23rd floor stairwell. She fell down the stairs with about 8 or 10 other people landing on top of her and fractured her back in 2 places. Worst 45 minutes of my life when I couldn't get in touch with her when that second plane hit. I thought I had killed her, telling her to take the stairs from 89. Her experiences are recorded in the audio diary of what some people experienced on 911. I was asleep when the first tower was hit, but my dad woke me up and then I was glued to the news for the rest of the day. I had class that afternoon, which I did show up for, but only about a third of the students were there. The no-shows weren't docked for it obviously, but those of us who were there got extra credit. I was a baby. My mom, on the other hand, was in Washington State with her disaster search dog instructing with a few others when the planes hit. Nearly everyone started to scramble to figure out how the hell to get back, because it was a ton of dogs and people from many task forces. I don't know exactly how, but my mom was able to get a ride with her partner K9 Otto when they were able to go back east and headed to the Pentagon. They were deployed for weeks combing through the disaster, attempting to find pieces of the deceased to bring them back home. Otto is pretty well known and was one of the dogs featured. Still crazy to see her and him vs what was left of the Pentagon.